will study about the capacitance of a parallel plate capacitor as shown in this diagram on the blackboard, that two plates that are charged, one plate is charged positive and another plate is charged negative. So यहाँ पर दो प्लेट्स हैं, जो एक पॉजिटिवली चार्ज प्लेट है, एक नेगेटिवली चार्ज प्लेट है, लेकिन उन दोनों के ऊपर जो चार्जेस का मैग्नीट्यूड है वो सेम है. प्लेट की एरिया भी हमने सेम कंसिडर किया है. एरिया ऑफ प्लेट 1 इज ए एंड एरिया ऑफ प्लेट 2 इज ऑल्सो ए. अब यहाँ पर जो इलेक्ट्रिक फील्ड लाइंस हैं वो हमेशा पॉजिटिव से नेगेटिव की तरफ आती हैं. सो यहाँ पर जो प्लेट पॉजिटिवली चार्ज है, फ्रॉम दैट प्लेट द इलेक्ट्रिक फील्ड लाइंस आर कमिंग फ्रॉम पॉजिटिव टू नेगेटिव. Hence this diagram is shown, and both the plates are separated by a distance small d. Now what is sigma? We know that sigma means charge per unit area, and it means that the charge that is evenly distributed over a given area, that gives the symbol sigma, and this symbol sigma denotes surface charge density. So surface charge density for this positively charged plate is plus sigma, and the surface charge density for this negatively charged plate is minus sigma. Now we have to calculate and we have to derive the capacitance of this parallel plate capacitor. So we will utilize these things. From our Gauss theorem, we know that, and we have derived that electric field on a positively charged or a charged plate is equal to sigma upon 2 epsilon naught. And here there are two plates. So what will be the net electric field on these two plates? So first of all, we'll consider the first part, that the electric field outside the plates at these positions, position number 1. These are the two positions, position number 1 and this is also position number 1, means outside the plate the electric field, let's check out. The electric field lines from this plate will go in this direction, and electric field lines at this plate will go in this direction. See? Fine. And we know that electric field outside the conductor is always 0. So the electric field will be sigma 2 upon epsilon naught minus sigma 2 upon epsilon naught, which gives 0, and hence the electric field outside the parallel plate capacitor will be 0. Now what will be the electric field inside the plates? So let's see. Inside we have the direction from positive to negative, means these electric field lines are originating from positive and going to negative. It means these are in the same direction, and when these are in same direction, then these electric fields will be added up. And when these will be added up, we are having the value of electric field as sigma upon epsilon. So this is the electric field inside the parallel plate capacitor between the two plates. Now we have the formula for electric field and potential, that dV upon dr. Here dV is the change in potential. We have to find out the change in potential. Here we are having the distance between the plates as d, so dr will be replaced by d. So rearranging this, we get electric field is equal to V upon d and V is equal to Ed. Now what is E inside the parallel plate capacitor? That we have calculated here, sigma upon epsilon naught. So this becomes sigma d upon epsilon naught. Now utilizing the capacitance formula, we have it as C is equal to Q upon V. So we have to find out this capacitance of this parallel plate capacitor. What is the charge here? Charge is evenly distributed on these two plates, and we know that sigma is equal to charge per unit area. So from here we can calculate the charge, and that comes out to be sigma multiplied by A. So here it is sigma multiplied by A. Now what is V? V also we have calculated, sigma d upon epsilon naught. So this becomes sigma d upon epsilon naught. Calculating it, we get sigma A upon sigma d multiplied by epsilon naught. Here sigma gets cancelled out. So the capacitance of the parallel plate capacitor comes out to be A epsilon naught upon D. So from this formula we can conclude that the capacitance of a parallel plate capacitor depends upon the area of the plates, the medium in which these are placed, and the distance between the plates. This concept derivation comes out in our examinations of 2 marks, and the numericals on this topic comes out to be of 3 marks. This series of lecture we will study combination of capacitors. There are two types of capacitor combinations, series combination, and the second one is parallel combination. So we will study both of these. So first of all we will focus on series combination of capacitors. In series combination of capacitors we combine parallel plate capacitors such that they are combined end to end. Now this is capacitor with capacitor C1, this is for C2, and this is as C3. In series combination the potential varies. Once you understand that what things varies in series combination and what things vary in parallel combination, then you can easily derive and find out the numerical answers very well. And in parallel combination what varies is the charge. So in series combination the potential varies. It means that the total potential of this whole series system will be V is equal to V1 plus V2 plus V. Now which formula we will use? We will use Q equal to CV, and from here V is equal to Q upon C. So we will substitute the different values of V. So what is V? Q upon C, and V1 is Q upon C1, V2 is Q upon C2, and V3 is Q upon C3. Here it is visible from the diagram that capacitance of each capacitor is different, that is C1, C2, C3, but the charge across each of the capacitor is same. Hence we can take the charge as common. Here also 1 upon C1 plus 1 upon C2 plus 1 upon C3, and this comes out to be the total capacitance of a series combination is 1 upon C is equal to 1 upon C1 plus 1 upon C2 plus 1 upon C3, which is converts to the combination of resistors in a parallel combination and series combination. Now moving on towards the parallel combination of capacitors. Here we have arranged the 3 capacitors parallel to each other with a common potential. Now in parallel combination what varies is the charge. The charge only varies. Here the capacitance for first is C1, second is C2, and for this is C3, and here the charge varies. So charge on Q first is Q1, charge on second capacitor will be Q2, and charge on third will be Q3. So what will be the total charge? That will be equal to Q1 plus Q2 plus Q3, means the sum of all the capacitors present. Now from this formula we will substitute the value of charge, that is CV. So we will put it here. CV is equal to, for Q1 it will be C1V, for Q2 C2V, and for Q3 it will be C3V. Since potential is same across the parallel combination of parallel plate capacitors, so we will take the potential constant. So here it becomes this way. Cancelling out the potential from both sides, so we get the final result of combination as total capacitance of a parallel plate capacitor is the sum of all the capacitances or all the capacitors that are joined together. So you can utilize these formulas to find out the total or net capacitance of the combination, various combination of capacitors, let it be series combination and let it be. So in this lecture we are going to study the energy stored in a capacitor. So with energy we know that from our work energy theorem that work and energy are interconvertible. For doing work we need energy, and when we utilize our energy, then means that we are doing work. So here we will go on to derive the energy stored in a capacitor with the help of work done on a capacitor. So first of all, we'll consider a capacitor. That means that two plates separated by some distance. Initially we consider that these two plates are uncharged. This is plate number 1 and this is plate number 2. What we do? We consider that plate 2 is transferring positive charge to plate 1. So here 2 is transferring plus charge to plate 1 bit by bit. Means at some second of time some charge Q1 is transferred here. At some certain second of time charge Q2 is transferred from 2 to 1. So we get a positive charge here and here it is negatively charged. Now what happens when charge is transferred from one plate to another? What will be the potential on the plates? So let's discuss about it. At certain instant when charge is transferring from plate 2 to plate 1, at that instant the charge on plate 1 comes out to be plus Q dash, and at that instant only the charge on Q2 on plate 2 comes out to be minus Q dash. Fine. Now suppose still plate 2 is transferring charges on plate 1, but at a particular instant we have found out that plus Q dash is present on positive and minus Q dash is present on negative, and still the process is going on. So what will be the potential difference at that instant when charge is plus Q dash and charge is minus Q dash? So we have potential at that instant equal to Q upon C, and this charge is Q dash. So this is V is equal to Q dash upon C. Since we are calculating the potential at that instant, so we will put a dash here also. Now what happens? It is continuously going on, addition of charge here. So suppose at another instant the charge that is transferring is dq dash, that is positive small charge is transferring over there, and when this positive small charge is transferring over this positive plate, here we have done some work, and that work done is equal to potential multiplied by the charge that is transferred. Potential was already present here, P dash, multiplied by the charge that is being transferred. So we will substitute here the value of P dash, Q dash upon C, dq dash. Fine. Now if we have to completely make it positively charged and completely make it negatively charged, so what we will do? We will integrate it from charge 0 to plus Q. So here integration takes place. So we get the work done is equal to Q dash dq dash, capacitance remains same, and here integration from 0 to Q. Now we will integrate this concept. So work done is equal to 1 upon C, and here the integration of Q dash becomes Q dash square upon 2 over the limit 0 to capital Q. So work done is equal to 1 upon C. 2 let's take out common and we substitute the value of limits here. So we get it here as Q square minus 0, and finally 1 by 2 C Q square. So this is the energy of a parallel plate capacitor, that is equal to half Q square upon C, or Q square by 2C. By substituting the various values of Q or C, we can convert this formula in various forms. So let me write out the various forms of this formula. U is equal to Q square by 2C, U is equal to half CV square, and U is equal to half Q. These formula for energy stored in a capacitor, you can utilize in your numericals and easily carry out the numericals to find out their answers. These substitutions have been done by using the formula C is equal to QV. When I substitute the value of C as QV here, then we get the formula as QV. So similarly, rearranging the concept over this general formula, we can find out these other two values also. So I hope this lecture is beneficial to you and you have understood how to derive the energy stored in a capacitor. Thank you.